When you feel productive in an environment, you're going to give more effort, you're going to be more engaged. So how do we produce that? How do we do that? So activity audit, write down those activities. Are they doing one of those three things? Leaders that build trust through presence, they will get through the storm. Employees stay in jobs longer when they have a deeper connection to what they're doing. When they feel valued, small shifts drive big results. Hey everyone, John here. Welcome to today's episode. At the end of the day, do you just feel flat out exhausted, but you don't feel like you've moved your business forward, your team forward, your organization? Why is that? A lot of times, leaders and business owners, we mistake activity for impact. And so in today's episode, we're going to uncover three simple things. We're going to talk about why business is killing your effectiveness. Then we're going to get into three principles. And these three principles are going to help you not only have impact and still maybe be tired, but at the end of the day, you're going to walk out the door feeling like you have moved the needle forward. So let's get into the first topic today. Our first topic, sometimes, we get in this trap of just doing things, just being busy. And I want to talk about why that feeling is defeating not only you, but your best employees. So where do we want to go instead? We want to have the power of impact. And we'll talk about some applications here in a bit. But first, we confuse motion with progress. I call it busy work. When you don't have anything to do, instead of actually doing something that's moving the needle and impacting the business, you just hand somebody a routine task just to keep them busy, because we have it in our minds that we have an 8-hour day and you have to be busy during the entire 8-hour day. I'm here to tell you, organizations that still have that old mindset, there's not a lot of success in it. Where the success comes from is when you feel productive in an environment, you're going to give more effort, you're going to be more engaged. So how do we produce that? How do we do that? When we think about productivity, sometimes we don't relate that to strategy. And when we're not moving forward in some type of strategy, business strategy, financial strategy, work strategy, whatever strategy you want, a plan, let's just call it a plan for simple sake. If you don't have a plan and you're just running around trying to be productive and giving busy work, it's going to feel like your wheels are spinning. And for me, constant busyness, constant wheel spinning can get overwhelming. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do, John? You're asking yourself, I'm always giving practical applications, and these applications are based on my 20 years of experience working with leaders, working with organizations, building teams, hiring your top talent, retaining your top talent. These things work. So get out your pens and pencils, use this, share this episode. If you get into these activities and you're like, you know what? I know somebody that could use that. Share it with me. And if you're not subscribed, give me a subscribe button. Click on that subscribe. I appreciate it. It helps grow this channel. This content coming to you free of charge. So here, tracking activities. I want you to audit your activities. Write them down. What are your daily activities? What are the things that you're having either your team do, you're doing yourself? Look at your top performers if you want to narrow down on those top performers, and you are going to analyze them in these three areas. You ready? 1, is it bringing revenue into the organization? So is that activity a revenue producing activity? 2, growth. Is it growing business? Is it growing your organization? Is it growing your team? And then 3, team development. Is that activity developing your team? Is it developing people or individuals within the team that are going to help the team grow? Whether it's in AI, I love just getting into, and AI is not even new, but getting into new things and identifying or asking somebody, hey, have you heard of this thing called AI? Somebody raises their hand and you just open up the possibility. That's what I'm talking about when I mention impact. The power of impact is allowing individuals to bring their strengths, to recognize first and then use those strengths to either bring revenue development activities, grow your business, and then develop your team. So activity audit, write down those activities. Are they doing one of those three things? If not, what I want you to do is eliminate or delegate those tasks that aren't meeting those three areas that we identified. Can you do that for me? So eliminate it altogether. Or if you're doing that task and it is not bringing revenue, it's not growing your business, or it's not developing your team, you need to delegate it. So the big question I want you to ask after you've audited your tasks and then you've eliminated or delegated those tasks that aren't meeting those three things, if I stopped this task today, would my business suffer? That's a great question. I ask myself that almost weekly. If I stopped doing that today, would my business suffer? So that is the trap of busyness versus the power of impact. And that's how we differentiate those two through that task audit. The second principle we're going to talk about, and we're going to identify 3 mindful techniques. The first one, pause before action. I do this when I purchase things or when I'm thinking about purchase things. What I want you to do is apply it to business. So remember, before you make a decision on to do something in the business, another thing, another shiny object that you're going to bring in, give yourself 24 hours. Pause and reflect before you act. Give yourself at least 24 hours, especially if it's a big task. Again, you may need 48 hours, but give yourself some time. The whole key to this is give yourself some time. The second one, clarity of chaos. You as a leader, as a business owner, must bring clarity when there is chaos. How do we do that? We simply answer the question, why? Why are we doing this? When people understand why you're being tasked or why the organization is going to pivot, it brings on this togetherness. It allows people to ask questions. It allows people to begin to understand. They may not understand it from day one, but as the days go on, maybe they're like, okay, I see it. I see how this fits into strategy. I see how this fits into the plan, bigger plan, and I see how my part of what I'm doing is important to accomplish that. That's what the why, that's the power of the why. Try it on. I want to take a quick break from the episode today to talk about a couple things. The first thing, less than 40% of our listeners are subscribed to our channel. You would be doing me a huge favor if you click on that subscribe button. It helps us grow our Go Be Great community and get this podcast out to as many people as we possibly can. The second thing, are you a small business owner that is drowning in the day-to-day operations? You're delegating tasks and you're still doing all the work. You're experiencing a high turnover. Maybe you don't have the systems and processes in place that you need to run a successful business. I invite you to go over to thejohnespinosa.com, fill out the form to see if you're the right fit. Now back to the episode. And then the third technique here, presence builds trust. So as leaders, as business owners, we have to create this psychological safety, the culture, this trust foundation. And that is the reason why successful organizations are able to adapt. They're agile, they're able to pivot, whatever you want to call it. But as the tide changes, leaders that build trust through presence, they will get through the storm. So your presence is very important when it comes to building that trust. So those are the 3 techniques. What are some applications, John, that I can use? 1, I love to hit a reset button. I turned it into, it was an easy button. I turned it into a reset button. What the reset button does when we're talking about these 3 techniques, remember, pause before action, clarity of chaos, create some clarity when it's foggy, and then presence building trust. The reason why hitting that reset button, it sets intention. Things may be going very well, and now the next step in the plan is coming. In order for us to move there, to make that leap, to transition into that next task, sometimes the intent needs to be stated. And so when we hit that reset button, that's our opportunity to go back and set the intention for the team to understand the why in the next step, or why we're going to pivot and now do something else. Another application, course correct. Don't be afraid. And this goes back to the reset button. Set intention. And then if things aren't going the way that we originally planned, or maybe we made a poor decision, don't be afraid to course correct. Don't dig yourself a deeper hole when you feel as the business owner and as the leader that this is going nowhere. Speak up, say something, and then course correct. 2 great applications when we talk about those 3 techniques of building mindful leadership principles. And then the third one here, we always end on culture, right? How are you going to build the culture for your organization? How are you going to stay away from the trap of busyness, lean into the power of impact, and then put these 3 techniques to use? We are going to build a retention culture. Employees stay in jobs longer when they have a deeper connection to what they're doing. When they feel valued, it's not pay. Pay's nice, but I have seen top talent, leaders in organizations leave making great money, but not feeling valued in the organization. The other piece here I want to talk about when we talk about retention culture is staying connected to meaningful work. And I get it. Not all things are going to excite you. In fact, as an entrepreneur, you're going to have to learn to do the things that probably aren't exciting in order to get to a point where you can start doing something that is exciting that you want to do. But that doesn't mean that the things that aren't exciting aren't meaningful, because they're the means to an end. So they're the definition of meaningful work. But you know that. You understand that as the business owner and the entrepreneur. Where you create the culture is when you go share that. When you share why the work is meaningful. Don't assume that your employees and your team understands why it's meaningful. Let them know. Help them understand. And then the last thing that I have written down here is high performers will leave chaos. They will leave reactive environments. If they feel there is a lack of strategic planning or a plan altogether, if they aren't looking for another opportunity already, they probably will start. So how do we prevent that? Here's some applications. I used to ask in my one-on-one conversations, my weekly conversations, is the question, how's it going? And I used to get a lot of, yeah, John, it's going all right. Things are going good. It's okay. Have you been there? Have you gotten those same answers to that same question? Here's a better question for you. The question that I want you to start asking is, what has been most impactful for you this week? A little different spin on that question. How's it going? What has been most impactful? You see the difference there? It forces them almost to identify what has impacted them in a meaningful way this week, or however long your conversations go. The other application here, I want you to begin to focus on activities these activities are things that I have found to bring me time as a leader, bring me the feedback that I need in order to know where to pivot or be agile. 3 things. No meeting blocks. I use no meeting blocks in order for me to accomplish the needed leadership activities that I need to get done to move the organization in a forward way. Not just be busy. I'm not talking about busy work. I'm talking about these no meeting blocks are opportunities for me to identify areas that are impactful to our organizations. Another one that I like to do, these activities, are project sprints. You all have heard me. Each one of these, there's podcasts on, so go back and listen, but I wanted just to bring them together for how to build this retention culture. Project sprints. I have began to do 90-day, and I'm even condensing them down to even a 75-day project sprint. And the reason being is when people get into a project, and they may be a player, they may be a stakeholder in a project, and their role may not be for 20 to 30 days out. Project kicks off, everybody, we're gung-ho, we're ready to go, and then it feels like crickets. There's still work being done, but for those individuals that were all energized and ready to go, guess what? By the time you get to them, they probably even forgot what they were supposed to do or what role that they had in the project. So I like to condense down into project sprints. And then what's another activity I like to do? I like to revisit priorities often. So this again allows You may have the best strategic plan. You may have the best strategy going forward. But if you don't remind people what that strategy is, they're going to forget. Our attention spans are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So it's very important for us, leaders and business owners, to make sure that people know where we're going. And that is the plan. That's the strategy. Revisit that often. I don't care if they get tired of hearing it. I don't care if you get tired of saying it. When it gets boring, that's when you know that you're making a difference. So if it hasn't gotten boring yet, I challenge you to continue to communicate that plan. So these 3 strategies, I hope this morning when I was getting these all down and thinking about the episode today and what I was going to talk about, almost a lack of words, because I get into this rut of just getting things done. And that's busy work. And I forget to look up and see where I'm going. So this episode was timely for me. I hope it was timely for you. I want to leave you with a challenge as always. I want you to eliminate one task that doesn't drive impact in your organization or for your business. And then remember, as always, people think that you got to make these big shifts in business to move the needle when it's the exact opposite. Small shifts drive big results. I believe in you. Go be great. Talk to everyone later. Bye-bye. If you like what you're hearing, do us a favor. Click on that subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up or leave a comment. That lets us know that what we are putting out benefits you. If you want additional information or resources or learn how to work with me, head on over to thejohnespinosa.com, because when we become better versions of ourselves, it helps us get others to where they're going. Go be great. Talk to everyone later.